Well, good evening, Sigma race fans. Come at you live here tonight from Phoenix for the Sigma ARCA series. And it's going to be a good one, 90 laps here for a grand total of 100 miles around this 1.082 mile racetrack. On the front row, you've got Carlos Eduardo and Billy Lovejoy, two newcomers to the series, up front starting the field strong here tonight. Behind that, you've got Taylor Cording and Santi Messi, Shy Turtle and Ralph Oberstadt. Last race's winner, Jonah Burridge, alongside Tasha Wright, Finley Herwig and Joseph Hayes. And then you've got Campbell Marsh and the 34 of Timothy Buchanan, Chase Kovacic and Kaylee Sheets, Ryan White and Violet Void, Craig Bush and Heen Clutchhoke, Cassie Perkins and Matthew Hubert, Craig Popkris and Alex Sanvital, Stephen Miller and Rand Kataz, Logan Nagy and Joao Vitor, Brandon Butler II alongside Casey Cash Klein, Ace Vaden and Ray Marcus, Donovan Heist and the 27 of Evan Snake, Drew Clue and Sophie Harwick, Jamison Thole and Wormy Wormington, AJ Kosnoff and Hank Scorpio, Kyle Ottawa alongside Bailey Parker, and then you've got the teammates there, Dylan Smith and Chasey Plays. Under the lights here tonight at Phoenix, these 42 Sigma ARCA drivers looking to have a good race here tonight. As they roll around what is now the new front stretch, it used to be the back stretch. Phoenix is definitely one of those tracks where it's kind of hard to get used to the arrangement that we know of it today with. Me growing up, I used to watch it where they had the finish line right in this area here, which was wild. Off to the early lead, it's Billy Lovejoy as Santi Messi slots his way up to second there. Carlos Eduardo falls back to third, and then you got Ralph Oberstadt on the outside making a move there for third. Taylor Cording stuck behind Eduardo. This is only his third career start in the ARCA series, so maybe learning the ropes here a little bit. As a couple veterans sit right there in front of him, Jonah Burridge and Santi Messi, but led by the rookie, Billy Lovejoy. One of his buddies we saw win the opener was Ryan White. So those two off to a pretty stellar start of the season here. Fastest lap so far belongs to Ralph Oberstadt, running in third right there. Fast lap of a 26.840. Santimesi closing up the gap here on Billy Lovejoy, as we're now 5 laps into this race with 85 laps to go. It's not likely that we're going to see any pit stops in a 90-lap dash to the win here tonight. Right now we got Tasha Wright up to 5th, Taylor Cording in 6th. Running in 7th, it's Jonah Burridge, last week's winner from Lucas Oil Raceway Park in Indianapolis. You got Shy Turtle with top 10 run at the moment, as well as Joseph Hayes. And you got Chase Kovacic, Kaylee Sheets, Violet Void. She's up there in the point standings, so hoping to have another good run here tonight to keep her position in the standings. Let's see, where is Ryan White in the running here? Your winner from week 1. Unfortunately, deep in the field here, running 23rd. So Ryan White having to kind of bounce back here. No retirements, as we still have all the cars out there running on field. 42 to be exact. In the meanwhile, it's Billy Lovejoy leading over Santimesi and Jonah Burridge. Stay tuned, folks. We're going to go ahead and do a quick Sigma side-by-side early in the running here. We'll keep the focus on the hot battles at the front of the field. Well, folks, looks like we've got a battle for the lead here as Santimesi goes around the outside of Billy Lovejoy. Santimesi driving the number 5 for Cording Brothers Motorsports. He's got a teammate moving up the field here too with Tasha Wright running in 5th right now. But the overall lead is Santimesi now, as he took over the spot from Billy Lovejoy. Ralph Overstad around the outside as well. It seems like the outside might be the place to pass here tonight. So, fascinating trend here for the first 2 races. Finley Herwig has finished 7th. He's running 6th right now. So the likelihood or the odds of him finishing 7th again, very, possible. How crazy would that be if he goes 3 in a row with an identical finishing order each race. Obviously, he's still got some room to improve and could make a better finish here tonight, too. Up to 6th right now. We'll see what he's got. Ralph Oberstadt got by Billy Lovejoy here, and now they're starting to set sail at the front of the field again. Tasha Wright closing the gap up on the 2 there a little bit. And we've got our first caution. A Sigma ARCA caution here on lap 18. Ooh, and that's going to involve the 54 of Taylor Courting. She was running up in the top half of the field. Oh, blown engine from 8th place. That's a rough break. Oh no, and Violet Void, a case of the ARCA brakes, as that's going to hurt her severely in the point standings. Yeah, that is true to form there for ARCA Series. Good old case of the ARCA brakes here in the Sigma ARCA Series, as your current points leader, Violet Void, couldn't adjust accordingly to avoid making contact with the 54 of Taylor Courting. It looks like they're going to do some repairs on the 00, so maybe, just maybe, they didn't toast that car yet. But she's at risk of going a lap here, lap down, as everyone else is pitting around her. So she's going to live to fight for another day. Unfortunately for Taylor Courting, that's the end of the road tonight on the number 54. But things are going to get interesting here, as we'll get to see for the first time Santi Messi and Jonah. Used to be Jonah Burridge in that 78 car last year, but it's no longer Jonah Burridge. It is Ralph Oberstadt. Sorry about that, folks. I'm sure, yeah, it gets a little bit confusing. I mean, if I looked at the 19 car on track, I would probably still call Martin Truex Jr. rather than Chase Briscoe. It's just one of those things that, as an announcer, you got to adjust and evolve with the times sometimes, and slip of the tongue. Jonah Burridge and Santi Messi are going to get the restart here. It's going to be interesting to see who gets the jump, who's going to get the lead. So far, it's been 2 leaders within the first 21 laps here tonight. The 2 of Billy Lovejoy started out front and led, and then Santi Messi took over right around lap 14. Jonah Burridge is in the field too. He's deeper. Right now up into the top 10. He's running in 7th. Your winner from last week. That 45, maybe, just maybe he can find a little bit of magic and go back to back here. As he led every lap last week at Lucas Oil Raceway Park in Indianapolis. As they should be getting doubled up for the restart here shortly. Suspension failure for the 34. That's a tough break. We didn't catch that one. There was a valve failure for Taylor Cording, but the 34 of Timothy Buchanan fell out on lap 13 here, so couple retirements, unfortunately, early in this one. Violet Void is 1 lap down. She's right here. And there we go. It is the 78 of Ralph Oberstadt off to the lead now on lap 23. KBM teammates are going to be side by side almost, not quite. Nose to tail, actually. As Tasha Wright and Santi Messi. Oh, and now she's pushing Messi up high. It's going to be 3 wide for second place. And in with a full head of steam, it's the 68 of Finley Herwig. But not too quickly. Not man, another caution. Right back into it. It's like we just barely left. Oh, the 80 of Kyle Ottawa gets crinkled up here. So they were 5 wide right at the front of the field there. And it is a hornet's nest in front of the 80 of Kyle Ottawa as the 6 makes an unexpected trip down pit road. And pandemonium breaks loose. No one anticipated that 6 to make a pit stop. That's another case of ARCA being ARCA for you folks. Holy cow. Yeah, big bunch up. Everyone just didn't adjust for unexpected break from the racing there. Wow. Man, that's on the 6 car, honestly, for making a abrupt exit off the racing line. And totally destroyed a bunch of drivers' days here early in this one. So, first couple races have been pretty tame here in Sigma ARCA Series, and now we're actually getting to start and see the true colors of the Sigma ARCA Series unfold here tonight at Phoenix. Well, I'll take another brief break here, folks. Don't go anywhere as the track cleanup continues. We'll go side by side and you won't miss any of the on-track action. I had neglected to realize that we'd actually gotten behind live there. And as you saw, I jumped right to live. Upon the restart, it looks like Ralph Oberstadt lost the battle here to Billy Lovejoy on the remount here. Billy Lovejoy back to the lead after losing it prior to lap 14 when Santi Messi took the lead. But don't count Ralph Oberstadt out. He is running a clean race, and he's right back up on the bumper of that number 2. Tasha Wright turned the fastest lap in the race now, and she's right up to 3rd. Oberstadt goes high, and that might be an advantage for him as he's going to try to go around the outside of Billy Lovejoy. Side by side through the first 2 turns here. On the backstretch now with the advantage, it's going to be Ralph Oberstadt taking over P1 yet again. So we're getting some great racing action here. On the move up through the field here, we've got Jonah Burridge up to 5th. Amazingly enough, Finlay Herwig is slotted back into 7th here. If this is going to be the long green flag run to the finish, he could be on tap for 3 in a row, finishing 7th. That's it's wild, man. I mean, you can't make it any more consistent than that. Billy Lovejoy not giving up those. He's trying to fight back on Ralph Oberstadt here. These top 4, they are very aggressive here and on the edge of making a move each lap. Billy Lovejoy has his mirror full of Tasha Wright right now, as it seems like she's got a faster car than her position would suggest. She dips inside, kind of gives him a warning. It's like, I'm here, just knocking. Lovejoy picks up some time there and actually closes the door up on Ralph Oberstadt. Some great racing at the front of the field here. We're seeing at least 3 cars capable of winning this race right now, and maybe even 5. Like deeper in the field there, Chase Kovacic on the move as he's up into the top 10. Kovacic in 9th. And then you've got Kaylee Sheets in 10th. Relative newcomer to the series, Campbell Marsh up into the top 15. Ralph Oberstadt is holding in solid on the inside, but that outside is going to prevail here as Billy Lovejoy gets back around to take the lead heading into a caution. So now our third caution of the night, which is far more cautions than we've seen in the first couple races. Man, another blown engine. Brandon Butler, who was running in 20th there, the engine just expired and unfortunately brings an end to his day. And that's when our caution dropped right there. Billy Lovejoy back to the lead. Camshaft failure for the 43. And while under caution here, we're going to get into halfway through the race here tonight. It's been one exciting race so far, with the lead changing hands a couple times. Man, another case of ARCA brakes here as just some weird, strange occurrences have been happening here tonight. Willow Racing in for a rough one as Violet Void has now made it twice now with a fender bender. Once the green flag drops on the reset here, it will be halfway. 45 laps in, 45 laps left to go. Leading them to the restart, it's Billy Lovejoy and Ralph Oberstadt, followed by Tasha Wright, Santi Messi, Jonah Burridge, and Carlos Eduardo, Joseph Hayes, and Finley Herwig, along with Kaylee Sheets and Chase Kovacic. More than likely going to be a repeat of the last restart where Ralph Oberstadt was able to outduel Billy Lovejoy from the outside. Without fail, Ralph Oberstadt gets the lead back. Billy Lovejoy dropping backwards here as Santi Messi's now up to second. Carlos Eduardo fighting for third. Kind of a different crew at the front of the field than what we've seen all night, as you now see Joseph Hayes cracking into the top 5. Jonah Burridge up to 5th. Now they're getting pretty single file here as Ralph Oberstadt leads the rest of the field. Santi Messi in a close second. Carlos Eduardo up to third. Joseph Hayes, Jonah Burridge, Billy Lovejoy, Tasha Wright, Kaylee Sheets, Finley Herwig a little bit behind the cue ball here as he's now in ninth. Might put his 7th place record in jeopardy here. Shy Turtle, Campbell Marsh, Casey Klein, Chase Kovacic, Evan Snake, and Stephen Miller in the lone Pontiac GTO. That is a chassis that we saw very common last year, as it was the mandated chassis that everyone had to drive here in Sigma ARCA. But since the transition to where you could run Ford, Chevy, Dodge, and Toyota, GTO kind of fell off the map. It's nice to see right here with Stephen Miller keeping the GTO flag alive here in Sigma ARCA. Still controlling the field right now, it's Ralph Oberstadt. Santi Messi closing up on him though. They're starting to drive away from Carlos Eduardo. I think Eduardo having a little bit of trouble there, as the 84 of Joseph Hayes might make a move around him. So as the points stand after 2 races, the driver that's running the highest on field right now is Jonah Burridge. He's going to be 4th in the points, so he's your highest up in the points, running at the front of the field right now. It's going to be interesting to see what these points do if things finish the way they're running right now. You've got Finley Herwig, who's just been extremely consistent with those top 10 finishes. He might be moving up the points a little bit because of the troubles that we saw out of Violet Void. Ryan White and AJ Kosnoff, those are your top 3 in the points. Top 3 as they run on track right now. Violet Void is 38th. That's a rough outing for sure. And then the 65 of AJ Kosnoff is 31st. Also very rough. And Ryan White, who's in the top 3 in points, he's 25th on field. So rough day for your opening season leaders here, as they're going to have a little bit of adversity facing them after tonight. Ralph Oberstadt himself sits 18 in the points, so great finish here tonight. Should catapult him up the point standings for sure. Well, as the front of the field tries to restack here, restabilize and fight to catch back up to Ralph Oberstadt, we're going to take another Sigma side-by-side break, so don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. Things are starting to heat up for the win here with 18 laps to go, as Ralph Oberstadt continues to hold the lead over Santi Messi. But Santi Messi starting to catch up to the 78. And it's going to be a battle between Toyota and Chevrolet. As you got the racing department, the number 78, and Cording Brothers Motorsports with the number 5. The race here tonight has been a good one. We've seen some great racing action. Swaps at the lead, a little bit of crashes and chaos, but put a neat little ribbon on it here, and we'll have a winner to crown as well. Seems that Santi Messi made a push there, but ultimately at the wrong time, and lost a lot of ground there to the 78. We're going to have to keep our eyes on the lights around the track to make sure that we don't get another caution before the finish. It's definitely not what Ralph Oberstadt wants to see, is it a late race caution at this point of the game. The rest of your running order after these two, you've got Carlos Eduardo in a solid third place run. Joseph Hayes, Jonah Burridge, Billy Lovejoy, Tasha Wright, Kaylee Sheets, Finley Herwig, and Shy Turtle. So for the most part, your running order does not seem to have changed a whole lot here since they returned to racing that previous caution. This battle at the front staying very lively. Santi Messi trying to recover and make another stab at it as they come across the start-finish line with just 11 laps remaining here. This is honestly all that you could ask for, is a great battle running all the way down to the checkered flag. Now there is going to be lap traffic here. We'll see if this throws a wrench in the plans for the two leaders. Oberstadt was able to make it around lap traffic with ease earlier, so we'll see if he can pull it off again here without losing the lead. By golly, folks, Finley Herwig is one spot away from matching his first two races of the season. He got by Kaylee Sheets to move up into 8th. Is he going to be able to move up another spot and get another 7th place finish here this year? In the meanwhile, nothing has changed yet, as it's still Oberstadt with the advantage over Santi Messi. But now you really got trouble, as there's 2 lap cars that are going to be factoring into this last stint of the race. They're going to come upon the lap traffic with just around 6 laps left to go. And this is where winners are made. You got to make the move at the right time. You got to find the openings. You got to avoid getting stuck. And that's a challenge that I think Ralph Oberstadt is ready for here. He's going to go low, takes the spot there in front of Violet Void. Wormy Wormington, though, might be a little harder to get around. That has allowed Santi Messi to close the gap again. Here we go, Wormington slowing up the pace of Oberstadt. Oh, and Oberstadt had to get out of the throttle there. That could be rough for him. And we're gonna keep an eye on Finley Herwig too. This is a statistic anomaly. If he can make it 3 weeks in a row with a 7th place finish, you might as well go out and buy a lottery ticket or something. Rolling sevens. If you get 3 sevens at Vegas, you're usually hitting a jackpot. And it's not really hitting the jackpot finishing 7th 3 times in a row. But it might be good enough to get him up into the top 3 in our point standings, as a lot of the drivers have had a rough day here. He could be even as high as 2nd in the points. All he's got to do is get around Tasha Wright here to keep that streak alive. In the meanwhile, we're missing all the racing action at the front. There's a lot going on here. They're finally able to get around Wormy Wormington. And Ralph Oberstadt keeps the lead away from Santi Messi. But Messi not giving up. He's still got a couple laps he can make something of. Now with just 2 laps to go, it's going to be a battle between these two to get the win. And I'm not seeing any cautions waving, so it's going to be white flag and 1 to go. As Ralph Oberstadt putting on a clinic here tonight at Phoenix. Is he going to have enough in the tank to keep it in front of the number 5 here? Coming around the last couple stretches and turns here at Phoenix, Ralph Oberstadt's going to go into the record books as a winner at Phoenix in Sigma ARCA competition. Coming home solidly in second there was Santi Messi, Carlos Eduardo, and I think it happened, folks. I think it happened. No, it didn't. Not quite. 68 of Finley Herwig, unfortunately, came home in 8th. So a 7th, and an 8th to start out your season. It's not terrible. Not bad. Some folks probably would have liked to seen that that anomaly continue, but it looks like it's gonna be put on the back burner now, as maybe he's gonna try to go for 8th place finishes instead of 7th. Huge congratulations, though, to Ralph Oberstadt getting the job done here tonight. Couple cautions really broke up the racing action here tonight. Gave us one, exciting race to follow here for the 3rd Sigma ARCA race of the season. And that points battle is going to get very, very interesting, as a lot of our contenders got knocked out here tonight. Three races in, 3 different winners. Couldn't ask for much more than that. Some great parity to be had in this Sigma ARCA series, as this is our second full season of racing in the series. It's really getting to be the up and comers, the who's who of who's next, as we're gonna start seeing some of these names move up the ladder and be a threat for years to come. But overall, congratulations to Ralph Oberstadt getting the job done here tonight at Phoenix. And that, folks, is just a start to the racing action here today, as Thursdays are Stock Car Racing Central here in Sigma Series. You'll get to see the Cup race later on this evening via live stream. So thanks again, folks, for tuning in to this Sigma ARCA recording. Recorded on Wednesday night, but tape delayed to Thursday afternoon for those of you on the East Coast. So yet again, folks, hopefully we'll see you in the next stream. Otherwise, have a great night. And until next time, this is Jakester signing out.